And welcome everybody to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. No theme music this year. We are hopping right into a great 2026, kicking off with Norma Wasserstrom, who's account manager, not one, not two, but actually three for the Red Cross. So yes. It's all in the way you present the title. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. We're really proud of our partnership with the city.
We get a lot of good things done. And you know, one of the things that people have with Red Cross is there's always a lot of different questions. So the first one that I like to bring up, we know that donations are needed all year long, but is there any time of year that is like there's more of a need than other times of the year? Is this January type of thing? Is this like the big month that you need a lot of donations, or is it pretty much every month at this point?
Well, a couple things. January is National Blood Donor Month, as we all know, and so we have observed this month since January of 1970. So part of the importance of this month is we have the winter months and we have the holidays, and these are very, very challenging months because we have weather, as we all know, a lot of illness this year, a lot of illness. So this can result in a lot of drive cancellations for us. Yeah. So consequently, that is very challenging for our business, canceling blood drives and having to reschedule them and reschedule the donors so we can make sure the products are there.
No, absolutely, because it's incredibly important. Now, I know what my blood type is,
yes,
but I don't know if everybody does. But is there a specific blood type that is, I don't want to say more preferred, but is there a more user-friendly blood type out there that is more user-friendly for donations than others?
Sure. Well, the first thing is we'd like you to load the app on your phone, because that will give you your blood type. O negative is the universal blood type, so anybody can receive that blood type. So that all blood types are important, but O negative is really important.
Yeah. A positive, in case anybody's curious out there. So.
And also the summertime is challenging for us. The high schools are out. It's trauma season. So every time of the year presents its challenges for us.
Well, I like it. So when I donate, you know, they go through the processing, and if you have the app, it will actually give you updates on like where your donation was sent, and ultimately, you know, they're not giving you the incredible detail, but they're letting you know that your blood was used to help at, you know, like the last one I had, I think was the Indianapolis Children's Hospital. So I saw that one. So I thought, all right, that was pretty cool to kind of see how that kind of moves out through the system. So you know, it's not just a donation and then you're done with it. But it's, you know, you get a little bit more kind of clarity about the good use it was, because you can only imagine what good use it would be at a children's hospital. So.
Yes, and that is why we depend on volunteers to come out every day to give blood, and that way it ensures that the products are there for our patients.
I like that you say products. That's a very nice way of putting it.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So other than doing a good thing, are there any fun incentives going on right now to kind of help encourage people to donate blood?
Yeah, so right now through the 25th of January, you can enroll and win 2 Super Bowl tickets.
That's why I'm doing it next week.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We try every month to have additional, these are national promotions. So we do try to have different ones every month. Typically, sometimes it's a $10 gift card, 15 or 20 even. This is hopefully helps to encourage donors to come out and donate.
Yeah, I like the T-shirt ones. Those are always fun because they're always kind of creative. It's never just like a T-shirt that just says Red Cross. There's always some sort of something with it to kind of makes it a little bit interesting. So I know I mentioned it before. We have, you know, a one blood donation center at the police department, and that's next Wednesday from 10 to 4. And I believe there's some spots left in the afternoon. None of the morning ones are there. I couldn't get that one, but I know I've got my appointment set. Are there any others coming up in the not too distant future in the Reynoldsburg area? Go ahead and tell us about those.
Let's talk about that. So I came into this territory in January of 24. And one of my goals was to increase the community blood drives in Reynoldsburg. The police department's been doing it for years. Yeah. So is the YMCA, and we really want to shout out to them. They've been a very strong partner. So let me go through the January blood drives that we have and the February. On the 9th, we have Reynoldsburg Library. Those hours are 11 to 5. January 12th is Messiah Lutheran Church from 11 to 5. The 14th is the Reynoldsburg Division of Police, and then January 22nd is St. Pius from 12 to 6. So what donors can do, and I'll get to February here in a minute, what donors can do is go to redcrossblood.org, our website, or you have the app on your phone, and put in the zip code 43068, and it will pull up all of these drives that are open to the public.
And there's a lot more, if you happen to be watching and you're going to be out of the Reynoldsburg area, they actually do allow a lot of other options all the way throughout, in addition to like the ones that are almost like permanently the actual Red Cross blood drive centers that are always open.
Yeah.
How about February?
February, okay, so on the 5th of February, we have Reynoldsburg Community Church, that's 12 to 6. On the 13th, we have the Reynoldsburg Library again from 11 to 5. Now, just so you know, Reynoldsburg Library goes every month, and they're always on a Friday for us. So we got into the new building, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So, and then on the 19th of February, we have the YMCA from 12 to 6.
All right. Sounds good.
So we really want to encourage new donors to come to these drives. Bring your family and friends. The regular donor base in blood drives starts to shrink after a while. People go on vacation, they retire, they get sick. So we're really looking for this community to come out and really help increase our participation.
It's a lot easier. I've been donating for a while. It's a lot easier now between the app because you can go through the questions, and it's relatively simple to kind of just flip through and go through it. And then when you get in here, if you're on the schedule, it's just relatively simple. Some people can't handle giving blood, and I understand that. Other people, it's basically they'll just kind of like not look while anything's being donated and all of that stuff. I just feel bad that most of the time when I'm here at Reynoldsburg, whoever the crews are, and they usually are different ones every time.
Yeah.
They have to hear my stupid jokes all the time. It's always a question of how, because they're always like, "Wow, you bleed out fast," and I'm like, "Well, it's good for this, bad for car accidents."
Yes.
But that's one of those things that's out there. But it's always a good cause. I'm glad to do it. I always make sure and drink a lot of water the day before
a lot of water.
and the day of. And then the rest of that seems to work out really well.
Well, and the process takes about an hour, and we want you to complete Rapid Pass before you donate. It's on the app. And you want to make sure that you eat, and then drink a lot of water and have a picture ID with you. Yep. And so we so appreciate you donating, really we do, because that really sets an example for us that it's important to you, and you do, and you donate.
I think I'm one donation away from, I think the 5-gallon pin is what I think I'm at, but I'm not 100%. I know it's 1 or 2. So.
Okay, we'll work on getting that pin and having a little presentation. And there's a standard snack at all of our blood drives. Yep. So we always want you to sit for a few minutes.
And I never pick the Oreo cookies, ever.
Well, thank you again for our partnership. We're so appreciative. I'm trying to develop this relationship in more of my territories, because we have to depend on territories like Reynoldsburg and community blood drives to help us keep the supply.
Well, I appreciate all your hard work, and I'm sure we will see you again. Hopefully we can get you in here before January of next year. Make it a little bit better. But,
I always like the camera. Thank you.
No,
thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody, go out to the redcross.org and go ahead and get registered. There's plenty of options, so if you can't make it out to next Wednesdays for the police department, you've
it's
got
Red Cross Blood.
redcrossblood.org.
Yes, no problem.
And make sure you decline the option for Super Bowl tickets, because if the Bears go to the Super Bowl, that would be a wonderful opportunity for me to donate blood and get tickets to that one. So, not that I'm thinking that one. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next guest. Brand new, I think about a month and a half fresh, the new executive director of the YMCA. Chris, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure to be here.
You see how stressful the conversations are, right?
Absolutely.
It's like rapid fire. It's almost like Meet the Press, but a little bit different.
I was going to say, I was getting those Meet the Press vibes over here.
I figured as much. Well, I appreciate you coming here. You've been with the YMCA for how long now?
Just under 2 months. I started in November.
All right, so you got everything figured out, right?
Absolutely, 100%. We're there.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about yourself and what attracted you to come to the Reynoldsburg YMCA, because there's more than one, even though ours is the best.
Absolutely. So, I am a Y kid, from my foundations. I played Y soccer. Actually, if you come down to my office, I have my Y soccer photo from when I was about this tall. My mom found it. Yeah, everybody else was this tall, but my mom found it, and it was one of those foundational experiences for me. I learned to swim at a YMCA, and it bled into
I see what you did there, Blaine.
It did. It bled in. Although trying to chase my veins around is always fun on those kinds of things. But it really colored what I wanted to do with my career. I didn't. I started as an elementary education major actually, and kind of realized that wasn't the right path for me. I have a lot.
You like kids, but not that long.
Not for 8 hours a day, 8 months out of the year, right?
Yeah.
And it actually left me lost until I had a mentor that said, "Well, have you ever thought about?" I was working as a lifeguard at our rec center, and they're like, "This?" Being the naive, 18-year-old, I was like, "Oh, I thought these things kind of just happened, right?" And he mentored me into it, and I actually decided that's where I wanted to go. So I headed into my master's degree and then campus recreation for 20 years after that. I came to Ohio, for a job, but I found a home here in Central Ohio, and when I saw an opportunity in Reynoldsburg, for me it was about being part of something more and greater than myself, and being able to continue to serve, but at a larger capacity. The YMCA serves 5 generations every single day: kids, teens, adults, seniors, and our families. And that to me was exactly what I needed and what I wanted in my life. And being able to be a part of the Reynoldsburg community specifically, it was close enough to be comfortable, but far enough away to say it's something new. And it's been an amazing 2-month journey so far, and I'm really looking forward to what 2026 has for us.
Well, it's going to be the exciting things coming forward, especially as more programming comes online and things like that, which we'll kind of get into. So right off the bat, are there any new programs that you know of that are coming up sometime this year that you're like, hey, this is going to be cool, this is something that's really popular?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, for our youngest kids, we have the Biddy Sports program, and that's one of our big focuses. That took off in 2024, with Reynoldsburg being the flagship for that. But now 9 of our centers across the region have Biddy Sports programs. Actually, last night was the kickoff for Biddy basketball, and if you've never seen that, I invite you to come down and see our Biddy program at some point. It's absolutely adorable to watch the kids just running around playing basketball better than I could myself. I got cut from my 5th grade basketball team. If that's even, I didn't know that was possible.
I'm glad you got over it.
I got over it. Yeah,
I'm not holding on to that.
I became a swimmer instead and a cyclist. So, the cool thing about those is it's for 3 to 5-year-olds. It introduces them to the foundations of the sport, teamwork, building confidence, and really having fun, being fit and being well. So we're building that out. We're also building in something for them to do after they age out of that Biddy Sports. So Leagues is something brand new that we started this year. It's for K through 1st grade. And our first session with basketball is going on right now, but we have floor hockey coming up here in our Winter 2 session. And the great part about that street hockey, floor hockey, is it's no skates required. So you're not going to break a hip. You're not going to break a leg, hopefully, with that. But no experience required either. So the Biddy Sports registration for hockey and then the hockey leagues are also happening right now. But yeah, those are some of our new things. I also think in Reynoldsburg, some of our really unique programs that we've been offering for a little bit, but maybe folks don't know. They think Reynoldsburg YMCA, they think gym, right? We have chess.
Okay.
For our youth. So you can sign up and learn how to play chess. Our chess master is absolutely fantastic. We have martial arts. We have spoken word. So we do a lot of things that you might not necessarily consider being a part of a YMCA, but we think of it in holistic wellness and well-being.
Well, it's pretty cool because I know that there's always a lot of different things. I know my wife participates in a spin class on a regular basis and things like that. And my son actually started working with the Y just the other week. He's a lifeguard, so he was there in between before he went back to school. So he'll be back kind of in a nice segue to when the pool opens up. Now, Reynoldsburg's got a thing for their pools.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, they're very passionate about that YMCA, that outdoor pool and things like that.
Yeah.
Aside from the pool, what kind of summer things do you think you might be going on? And then we'll get into like what the policies for the pool are too, because I know people are waiting to hear it too.
Yeah. So during the summers, YMCA of Central Ohio is one of the largest care providers for children in our area. Summer day camps are coming up, and registration for that will start on January 15th.
Yeah.
All 15 of our locations run these. Kids 5 through 11 are welcome to join. It includes field trips, outdoor games, fun, but in a safe and structured environment. Financial aid is also available for these camps to make sure that it's available for everyone. So nobody should ever feel like I can't get my kid into day camp. I can say that our first week is going to be really exciting. We're doing an engineering camp for our very first week. So look for some fun STEM activities with that. We also have a sports week coming up that we're going to style after the old 90s Guts competition from Nickelodeon. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
We have our water week, which is always super popular, and then a talent week. So think of, America's Got Talent, but Reynoldsburg's got talent for that one. So it's always going to be a yes for me, dog. But, it's going to be a fun time. We're trying to get a little bit of variation in with that. The YMCA also has overnight camps at Camp Wilson near Bellefontaine that they you'll really like to showcase. It is something that you can secure that week of camp for a $10 deposit this month.
Okay.
So if you're interested, $10 deposit can get you into that. It's for ages 6 to 17. But we also have one other really cool thing for our teens, and I know that's a big thing to keep our teens active and involved, and that's the Summer Teen Experience. Again, serves our older learners, preparing them for what's next. STEM is usually integrated very heavily into this. So check out all of those programs because, again, there's always going to be something to do at the YMCA.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to offer, especially for those kids that are those teens that I would say probably really the 12 to 17 year range.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's easy for the younger kids to get things done,
Yeah.
but teenagers, for those of you that don't know, sometimes they're very picky about everything. So maybe this is an opportunity for them to do something. That's good to hear.
Absolutely.
All right, so about the pool.
Yes.
Used to be, a lot of chatter about it. Last couple of summers has been really good. I've not really heard anything outside of, the thing that you and I talked about initially is just, if you don't have enough lifeguards, you don't have enough lifeguards. But assuming that, kind of thinking the same philosophy this year, he pulls open at such and such a time, and then people kind of line in and come in and fill up as they go.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to continue exactly what we've done in past summers. If you are a 15, 16, 17-year-old looking for that job, we definitely would like more lifeguards for that summertime because we can then offer more hours. We can offer expanded programming in that space. But yeah, our plan is to offer everything like we did last summer because that is a really cool space for our community. The indoor pool, again, we want to continue to staff that during the summer as well, especially for our instructional programs like Learn to Swim, keeping kids safe in and around the water. But yeah, besides the summer camps, that's what we're really focusing on right now.
Well, I know when my son went to the first one, it must have been Monday, I think, in the early morning, and there was a group of senior citizens that were there, and it's the first one back after the first of the year, so they obviously had not seen each other for a while, and he just remarked how fun it was to see how excited everybody was for the seniors to get in the pool. And he's like, they had their their inflatable like little weights, and they were walking around on it, but they had been every time when somebody would come in, they'd all kind of stop and like cheer their name, and then the person would get it. So it was actually, he appreciated that just because that's something I don't think he was expecting. I mean, usually when you're thinking a little bit more rambunctious, kids and all the splashing and things like that, but that was a kind of cool experience for him to see.
Yeah,
so.
well, and that's the beauty of the YMCA. It's a family.
Yeah.
It is a complete family. You are going to see people there that maybe you haven't seen in a month, but it's just like catching up with old friends.
Yeah. Well, you've been a great partner with, I think we talked a little bit at the Christmas on the Town event and things like that. So you've been a great partner. The only other question that I have really is, how's membership? Are things, I assume January is the new year, new me. I'm going to come in and, that type of thing. So how are things going there?
Membership is really going strong and growing very fast, especially with our families, especially as we have that growth here in Central Ohio. A lot more people moving to Central Ohio, looking for that flexibility and also that way to make their dollars stretch just a little bit more. Right now, we have a $1 join promotion going on at the YMCA. So the normal join fee is $50. You can join today for $1. I think it's $1.08 with tax, but $1 all the way through the end of the month. We actually started that in December,
Okay.
but we're running that all the way through January 31st, and it is a fantastic time to come and join the YMCA for that. There's a really strong energy, a really strong vibe, and we're really looking to develop some new programs that not ready to unveil all those just yet because they're in the works. But I think there's going to be some really fun stuff for all of our membership once we get to that point. So. Again, I've got 98% of it figured out maybe at this point.
There you go. Well, we'll give you a pass. The last question that I really have for you is there was a question that was kind of posted on. It wasn't a question on social media. It was more of a statement. I'll paraphrase because it was kind of uniquely phrased online. If someone has a concern about the billing process and they're a senior citizen, would you recommend that they reach out to anybody in particular at the YMCA if they have questions? It seemed like they were not getting the response, or they didn't know necessarily who to talk to address their questions.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. If you have questions at the Reynoldsburg YMCA, you can always feel free to contact me directly. You stop at the desk; they have my cards. But you can obviously contact me directly, and there's going to be some more ways here in the future where we're going to interact. I'm going to be interacting with our members a lot more. But you can also contact our membership director, Michaela Osborne, and she will be able to help you with all of those needs as well. But the front desk is usually a good place to stop too, especially in the mornings with Mr. Ray. If you've met Mr. Ray, he is a whiz at working Daxco, which is our system for memberships, and he's usually really good about being able to help folks out with that. But there are some changes with some of the health insurance plans this year, and silver sneakers and all that is.
I think that's what it was kind of like trying to navigate that particular portion.
Yeah, and we're trying to help people navigate it as much as we can, just with the information we have on some of those health plan changes. But we're here for folks. I want folks to know that we're not just a gym. We're here for total wellness. With our community, we are invested in our community.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything else you got to share with us today that we haven't kind of covered?
Boy, again, come and visit us. If you haven't visited us in a while, come and check us out. Give us a shot. Let us take you on a tour. Let us show you what's happening at the Reynoldsburg YMCA. If you have, just stop by and say hello. I love to see everyone. My door is always open unless I'm meeting with somebody or not there, obviously. But
doing a 12 o'clock podcast show. There you go.
That too. It's one of those. But yeah, come and visit us. We want to see you. We want our community to know that we are here for you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely.
It was good seeing you. We'll see you definitely on and off over the next year or two.
Absolutely. I will be here whenever you need me.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. What a great way to kick off the show. We've got the YMCA and we've got Norma from the Red Cross. So we've got great ways to not only stay healthy, but also help others get healthy. So a lot of other things going on as well. This is going to kind of be the stage setter for the year. So we've got a lot of cool things going on. Did get some comments and questions submitted that I'll get to as we kind of go through. So the first thing, we usually always kind of pop up the first thing with schools. So last night at the organizational meeting, recently elected Teresa Allaby was nominated and elected president of the Reynoldsburg City School Board, and current board member Kendra McCabe was appointed a vice president, so that's always there. Don't worry, we'll have them on sometime in the not too distant future. And that kind of leads to one of the questions that I got. It basically stated, do you know if there will be any new levies this year? Taxes are, and this was my favorite part of it, taxes are crazy high. So I know from the city perspective, we have no intention of putting any levies on the ballot. I do believe Truro Township is looking to put something on this year in the fall, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. And the schools are kind of undecided. Last night was just their organizational meeting, so I don't really know if they got into that particular portion of it. I think that'll be at a later date, but obviously something to keep an eye on. But it was a good question to see, especially the crazy high part. That was fun. So that's it. But if you want to know what the schools are going to do, their next board meeting is January 20th here at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. Just come on down there. Other ways that you can actually help support our school district is with the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. It is Legends, Lights, and Disco Nights, and they do know how to attract me to it. They said there's going to be a prize for the best 70s era costume. I saw that, and my wife actually, I think there was a little bit of a tear because she thought she had made it through Halloween season without having to deal with any more costumes, and yet here we are. So that will be Saturday, February 7th. There's going to be the student art auction and the silent auction as usual. Lots of music, great food, and things of that nature. Tickets are $55 now until January 19th, and then they're $60 after until the event. all proceeds go to the Teacher Activity Scholarship Fund and the Washington, D.C. Field Trip Fund. So the first one is a little bit different. So teachers actually submit applications for a scholarship or for a mini grant, I guess you could say. And this helps them buy some supplies and materials that they can do some of those extra special lessons for their kids. Teachers put a lot into it, and it's great to get those kids the optional activities. And the DC trip is why the Education Foundation actually was started. We'll have Debbie Dunlap on in a couple of weeks to talk about that. But it was designed to make sure that kids who wanted to have the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and see our nation's history have that actual opportunity to do so. So check that out on February 7th. Get those tickets. They are selling. I don't know if there's a capacity number just yet, but they did say tickets are selling fast. So make sure you go and think about what you're going to do with that to get that great 70s vibe going for you. We also have some other events that are kind of interesting. The Reynoldsburg Theatrical Company is going to present Groove and Dine Valentine, featuring Groove City Big Band. We've had them on the show earlier last year. That's going to be on February 13th at 7 p.m. So this is going to be kind of like a date night option. So tickets are $25, and they are going to have dinner by O'Charlie's. So they'll have that out there. So that's pretty good. So check that out on Facebook as well. Any questions, comments so far?
Not yet.
All right, communication. So there's a couple of cool things that are happening this year. One, we are moving to a text alert system. Now, we're really kind of in the early stages of this one right now, but we've got an opt-in only option. So we're hoping to get that in there. So we know that it's if an emergency happens, obviously that'll be there. But we're looking at some other issues. Maybe there's some breaking news. Maybe if there's like a power outage, traffic light, or water main break that inquires like a boil advisory or something like that. But it will be opt-in. But you'll be able to see more of that information as we get through. It's really only the third day back with everybody on staff. Friday was kind of a ghost town here at City Hall, but definitely going to have that out there. So check that out as we get it coming along. We did talk about the police department having their blood drive, so that's on next Wednesday. And let's see here. Fun things, Bryce Road realignment. So I have bad news. We did not get the Safe Streets grant. We applied, but pretty much no one in the Central Ohio region actually got it. It seemed like most of the awarded dollars were into the more rural areas all the way across. But don't worry, we're already trying to figure out how we're going to do it. We still have the $2 million that has been earmarked for us from Senator Bernie Moreno and Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. So once the federal government gets their budget done, that'll be in there. But we are probably going to look to an OPWC grant, which we've had great success in. So we'll kind of time that out through the rest of the year to kind of realign that intersection. But we do have good news. If you are part of Reynoldsburg Connects, which is our e-blast system that only goes out once a month, you were notified on January 1st about all the different things going on in the beginning part of the year, including our 2026 street program. This will be going to council probably the first week of February or so, but if you check on the website, you will actually see a list of roads that are on there for this year that we plan on doing, as well as the next 2 years. So I'm going to read some of them because there's actually a lot. We're trying to get a lot done. Big ones this year that I know people will be happy about, Berkey Avenue and Berkey Court. Jordan's Crossing is going to be one. Patterson Loop. Ridgeline is going to be there. Retton Court, Wind River Drive, and a number of other ones. But if you go online and you take a look at it, it actually will have a map in there so you can see which ones are on tap for the next 3 years. So those are all pretty good things. I'm sure it's not going to make everybody happy, but that's kind of where we're at. Any questions so far on that one?
We do have a question asking about the where to get the information for the DC tours, and I'm getting ready to add that link that'll go directly to the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation page that they can read about that. And then we have a request that wants to know about the Tomato Festival and any information about the acts that will be performing at the Tomato Festival.
I wonder if it's the same person who sent it. Yeah. So I do have that. We are working right now. We have identified a couple of acts that we would like to have. We are just waiting to make sure that everything lines up. So to kind of go through a little bit of the process is, we went late last year, October, November, to kind of establish the budget for the Tomato Festival, specifically for the acts, for the entertainment. Knowing that, we ask basically the manager of everything, MPE Entertainment. We say, this is what our budget is. This is the kind of these are the kind of musical acts. We're like, who's going to be touring next year and availability and budget price and things like that. So then they provide us a list with all sorts of different options, and then we go through, and then depending on the genre of music, because some of us have no idea what the music is, others of us do, and we go through, and then we get into the wish list and be like, oh, what about this? Can we have, and then it's whatever else, that's in there. And just sometimes we don't have the budget. Like Councilman Stacey Baker always asks for Beyonce. That's just not going to happen.
I actually second that.
Yeah. So we'll work on that one, but we'll see. So then once we do that, then we submit a kind of like a list of top 3 choices for the Friday and Saturday nights, and then see what kind of matches up. Who's available. Does it fit our price point? Do the bands kind of fit together for the budget and all of that other stuff? And then once we identify that, then we extend the contracts. And then once they officially sign on the dotted line, that's typically when we announce. So the last couple of years, we've been really good about getting things together so we can make those announcements at the State of the City, which is actually this year on February 26th. It's a little bit later this year than usual. But it's far enough back that I think hopefully we'll have a good idea of what those things are, as Jennifer is purposely not looking me in the eye right now to give me any hints on anything. But we'll find out as soon as that. But that was a really good question. Anything else?
That's it right now.
All right. Other street things, we've got, obviously, Wagner Road is there. And while, yes, it's a little bit warmer than usual right now, crews are furloughed at this point in time. That's typically what happens with construction season. So they will be back probably in February or March, depending on the weather. But either way, we can't do any paving because the asphalt factories are closed. Once the weather is going to be projected to be a little bit more consistent in that 40 plus degrees, those things will open back up. But basically, that's going to be the first thing that we're going to go for. So we've got that. Also wanted to show you a little bit. This has been something that we've been working on with the Ohio Department of Transportation. They are moving forward with their Taylor Road 70 interchange. So this is going to be at Taylor Road Southwest, as if you're headed towards the Walmart and Sam's Club and things like that. They are in the process of final designs, and their intent is to put this out to bid this year. They're doing some property acquisition right now, and then they are looking to begin construction as soon as 2027, 2028, but it's going to be 2027. So just giving you an idea of that. If you would like to have a closer look, you can go to the Ohio Department of Transportation website and check that out. There's going to be some things in there. We did a traffic study in conjunction with Etna Township to kind of figure out, all right, so you're on the expressway, you're getting off at Taylor Road Southwest. What happens then? What do you do at the intersection of Taylor and Palmer? And actually, this study went all the way out past First Gate, and really all the way to Broad Street to get an idea of what that traffic potential is going to come at. It is a bigger project than just that intersection, but according to the most recent estimates, a majority of that construction is going to occur between 2027 and 2029. The project itself won't finish until 2033, but that's outside of everything on the other side in the Pickerington area. But the bridge and the overpass and the on and off ramps and all that is the priority that'll be there for the first couple of years. Once it's announced and we have better understandings, we'll let you know, but that's the Ohio Department of Transportation project. Any questions so far?
Yes, we do have a couple.
Yep.
Is there any way we could get a tour fun bus that would be willing to take seniors to different places, like the Ark in Kentucky, West Virginia to Oglebay, Christmas lights?
They actually do things like that with our senior center. I would check out our senior center page and reach out to them. I know they do a number of trips per year. They do day trips and all sorts of things. But yes, they actually do that already. So it's 55 and older so are eligible to be members of the senior center to kind of get that along. But that's a great opportunity.
Just questions about the composting program. Did you bring your pail today that's got the sticker on it?
No, I didn't bring it up because I'm actually using it. We are on bag 3 right now. So we have gone through that, and it's mostly because my son was home, Alex, so there's really not a lot of leftover food. So that not a lot of food scraps when he's here, but he went back to school yesterday. So I imagine that maybe we'll pick up the pace on that one. I know a lot of people were questioning, like, okay, where do I drop it off? Because it says Huber Park. It is Huber Park, but it's not. It's actually when you enter, you go onto the Livingston side by Spangler, by the baseball field, and you go to that parking lot area, and that's where that location is. So you drive it, open the door, deposit everything you need to, and things like that, and then move forward.
Is Wagner Road coming up on your to-do list when it's opening up? That was the next question.
Yeah, I did talk a little bit about that. As soon as the asphalt factories are open and we can pave, that's going to be dependent on the weather. So you're looking at probably when the weather is pretty consistent at 45 degrees, which it's Ohio. It was 60 degrees the other day. So let us hope that it's going to be a mostly early spring. So I would probably say at best you're looking at March, probably April-ish is when that's going to be there. But once the asphalt factories are over, they're pretty much ready to go. They'll do a little bit of cleanup before the factories open up to make sure the road is prepped and ready to go. And the first moment it is, that's the first thing that's happening. And then that particular section will be open up.
Perfect, that's it.
All right. Over to the park side, we've got a lot of cool programmings coming up. We have the Frost Fest, which is iceless ice skating, a hot cocoa bar, winter crafts, and that's Saturday, January 24th at the Senior Center. They also do a couple of other cool things. They've got Puzzlepalooza. We've got adult cornhole coming up this spring and summer at Eastside, and then adult euchre as well. Sports, for the older kids that aren't doing some of the YMCA programming, we have the spring sports schedule is out there and live. So that would be soccer, baseball, things like that, all those outdoor things. A new thing that I saw this year, 2 of them actually, a March 3-on-3 basketball tournament. This is for families and for adults. So that actually sounds like a pretty cool thing if you're in there, so you can get your family involved and all that, as well as a snowball family flag football. I would assume that's probably going to be in February, but that's also an opportunity for families to participate. And for the most part, Bryce Park is open, so you'll see the sign. We're going to go ahead and reveal the sign. It's strangely enough, it's just Bryce Park, and we'll do a more official grand opening when it's nicer. Because every time that we say, "Hey, let's do it this day," it snows or it's raining the entire day. So we're just going to wait a little bit later and do the official opening. But go ahead and take a look at it. The trail is actually very nice. The fencing works well with it, and you'll see some more sculpted landscaping out there as well. And you already got the composting, so that was my next topic all the way around. We've got some cool events coming up. We've got the MLK breakfast that is actually going to be on the Saturday the 17th at the Reynoldsburg Community Church. Tickets are still available, so if you're interested, it's there, and it is free. So when I say tickets are available, you're not paying anything. You go, you have a really wonderful breakfast that'll be there, and there's always some good guest speakers, things of that nature, and it's a great event. I believe, is there music this time around? I think we've got some music going on and things of that nature, so it's going to be a good event all the way across, but you'll hear more about that next week when we'll talk about our next guest here. We also want to remind everybody that, hey, once January 1st hit, it is America 250, USA 250 all around. So we're going to have a lot of people on the show to talk about that, including some of the people in charge here at City Hall to kind of promote some of those cool things. The schools are participating. The Historical Society is going to be there. We've got the Community Association, obviously, with the 4th of July parade. We're going to have an extra spectacular 4th of July fireworks program and all of that. So there's all sorts of cool things going on as well. We also have the State of the City that I mentioned on Thursday, February 26th. The doors are open at about 6:30, and then we'll get that started at 7 o'clock. For those of you that have been there in the past, I try to start at 7 o'clock, pretty much on the money. And I would say 40 minutes or so, usually 45 minutes is about where I'm at as far as kind of going through everything. So there's going to be a lot of cool things going on this year, some of which have already been talked about. Hopefully other things will be able to be talked more at the State of the City and stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool thing. Any questions before I get to my last question that I got submitted?
Any plans to replace the walking trail in Huber Park in 2026?
The walking trail in Huber Park, which I got to be more specific on that, because I mean most of that was just recently redone, so I'm trying to figure out what area that they might be referring to.
Just ask them, send in more details, we can answer later.
Yeah, send them in some more details, because I know that had been taken care of and repaved a lot of it just, 2 summers ago? After 2 Tomato Fests ago.
Yeah.
So. All right, the other question I got in is, it's kind of an interesting one. So there's a fine line between what goes on outside of the city of Reynoldsburg and what goes on inside of the Reynoldsburg, and what this show is designed to be and what my philosophy is. So the question was very bluntly stated: why don't you speak out on real issues, like issues with ICE, immigration, the current presidential administration, and then most recently added Venezuela, things of that nature? Do I have opinions on all of those things? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that anybody who knows me knows that I have opinions on pretty much everything. That being said, I typically don't view this show as an opportunity for that type of political discussion. My role as mayor is to be mayor of everyone in the city of Reynoldsburg, and I feel if I spend a lot of time talking about specific things like of a political nature like that, that's like for Crossfire. That's for Sunday morning, news talk shows and things like that. If you want to ask me, on my mayor's page, or if you see me around and want to ask my opinion on a lot of those things, then by all means, I'm happy to answer those questions for you. I can answer those questions in general, but again, it's in the capacity of my role as mayor. That's not what I'm necessarily here for. I don't have that kind of federal control or state control. On the flip side, I'll say Reynoldsburg is an incredibly diverse community. We have people from all around the world that live in Reynoldsburg. There's 60 some odd languages spoken in our schools. And the people who are here and are our residents. And we will do all that we can to make sure that they feel safe and respected in a city that's tagline is the city of respect. As for the rest of it, there's things that we all have opinions on. But the reality is social media has turned into a point where you're probably not going to convince anybody of your particular point of view because most people don't want to have an actual nuanced debate. And to be honest with you, Facebook or Twitter or X or whatever, those aren't the best places for it. Those are things that if sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk face to face about it, happy to. So that was my third question for the day. So I do appreciate all questions. I appreciate the people that submitted them. I appreciate the online questions. Anything else popping up since then? We've got a big show next week. I'm going to drag Auditor Strickland from her office on Wednesday next week. She's been working hard the last couple of days getting acclimated to all things, but she's going to come out here and talk mostly about the Martin Luther King breakfast, but a little bit about her role as auditor and what she's learned so far. And once she's done hyperventilating, then I think we can move on and talk about some other things. She's doing a lot of good work, but definitely a lot of things going on in the office. But she's very excited and been here every day, I think at 7 a.m. since the 1st. So it's been a good thing all the way around. So she'll be our guest next week. I've got some great guests lined up throughout the rest of the year. But if there's somebody you want to see, I know that I'm sure staff is going to be like, okay, we saw the dog kennel. Let's go see kittens. That's going to be our next one that I'm sure we'll try and figure out. Got a lot of other options out there as well. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the time. Enjoy, stay safe, stay respectful. And as always, please put your shopping carts away and pick up your litter as best you can. Any last second questions?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.